So first off, tell us a little bit about the background of the show, how it came about. Where did the idea spark from?
I mean, over the years, I've had all kinds of television offers, but it's always been like talk shows and things like that. And I'm just like, no, what? No, I'm not doing that every day. One of the producers from Schitt's Creek, his name is Andrew Barnsley, kind of had his eye on me, I guess. And like 5 or 6 years ago, he just got a hold of me through my friend Leah, all these connections. How do I get a hold of Jann Arden? And so Leah gave him my contact information. He's like, in a perfect world, Jann, if you were to do like a television show, what would you do? And I'm like, what are you talking about, Andrew? He's like, seriously, think about it. Another year went by because I was just like, I don't even know what that means. And I was out touring. I mean, I have, my music career, and I'm just about to make my 15th record with Universal. I've been with them 28 years. So I kind of have my gig going on. Anyway, I'm just blabbing on. Leah came to my house. We sat down. She goes, let's do a pitch sheet. Come on, let's figure out a show. And here we are with the Jann show 5 years later. We're just about to, we are starting to shoot season 3 now. We're in pre-production. I'm just going into costume fittings and stuff again this week. I had my first COVID test yesterday, so we will be tested like twice, two or three times a week while we're shooting. But yeah, it was just, she's like, let's do a singer-songwriter. Let's kind of keep it, we don't even know if you can act. And I'm like, yes, that is true. That is very true.
Well, and comedy is hard. I mean, comedy is really the hardest thing you can do in acting. And so was that daunting for you to have that be your first?
Honestly, not really. In my live shows, I've just performed so much, and my talking in between my songs is the complete antithesis to the music. People are always telling me how depressing my music is. They're so wrong. My music's like ABBA. Come on, people. Get yourself some Jann Arden records. But in between, I would just tell stories, like whatever happened to me that day about my mom or, whatever. And so that I knew it was possible, but scripted comedy, of course, is another thing because I'm not just making stuff up. People are like, do you just improv everything? I'm like, no. There's other actors that have to know what the F is going on. So as much as I would love to stand there and make shit up, I can't do it. Yeah. So, but the writers are all so good and they know me well. Leah and I have worked together for like 12 or 13 years. And I'm in the writer's room the whole time. We normally do it here at my house. If it isn't COVID, I have like 7 people sleeping here in the house. And we just knock out these storyboards and we laugh ourselves sick. I feel like we should do a show of the stuff that we don't use for the show. That's my personal feeling. But I feel very fortunate. Andrew Barnsley, Project 10, and our partner 724 in Alberta here, which is our sister production company, they just believe in what we're doing. The cast is so great. Everyone says that all the time about their shows, but to have this opportunity on Hulu and to have the opportunity to have a, American audience kind of see what we're up to. You don't have to know anything about Canada to get the humor on the show. It's about trying to figure out what makes you relevant, trying to figure out your relationships, getting older, constantly failing. And then now your mother suddenly can't remember stuff. And who's going to look after her? And the sisters keep shuffling her back and forth. And as much as it's heartbreaking, it's kind of funny because millions of people are going through it.
Do you have a scene that's your favorite that you've shot so far?
Oh my gosh. In season 1, the very first episode, getting caught on the barbed wire fence, I think is such a Canadian thing. There's 10 million miles of barbed wire fences all through your land too, Texas and Oklahoma, the Midwest, all the ranchers and oil people. And anyone who's ever been on a farm or been in the country, your biggest nightmare is catching your crotch on the barbed wire fence. So doing that and figuring that out in the first episode was very fun. Riding the mechanical bull in season 1. Season 2, I have to say, you probably aren't there yet, but there's a camping episode with the family. It doesn't deal with music. It deals with Jann going camping with her family. And it's everything that can possibly go wrong goes wrong. And, you know, who doesn't have to poo in the woods at some point in their life? So that's the kind of gallows humor we're sort of dealing with. But if there was ever a time that we needed to laugh,
Yeah.
it's now. And I think it's a really relatable, funny
Yeah,
show.
it is. Absolutely.
And we hope everyone really likes it.
Yeah. There's a lot in the show about staying relevant in today's world, changing world. Was any of that resonant to you that came from your own experience?
Honestly, not so much in my life. I've led a very charmed life. I've had, I mean, a lot of obstacles. I grew up, my dad was a drunk growing up, which is one of the reasons that I hid in my parents' basement, played records, and learned how to play a guitar. So I've always long believed that good things come out of bad things. And so I'm kind of grateful for my old man now, because had he not been a raging drunk, I don't know if I would have gone down there and just kind of tried to stay out of his way. So you think about things like that in life as you move along. You know, we're always reflecting and looking back and like, is that why that happened? You get a clearer picture of things. That's one of the gifts of aging. But I've been with the same record company, like I was saying, 28 years. And which is sort of unheard of. I think me and Brian Adams, Brian's with Universal as well. He's been there, I think he's been there 5 or 6 years longer than I have.
Yeah.
We both have the same manager, so that's why I know things about him. He was one of those people that I grew up listening to and just loving so much. Summer of '69 and all of that stuff. But I feel grateful. I don't, it's not, the stage is not my life. So I think maybe people that live in that world, fame has teeth. Fame has teeth.